my black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white. Yeah, it's black and white. We're just black and white. It's my black and white. It's my black and white scarf.
Hello, and you're very welcome to the Turn End podcast. It's season 5, episode 26. Yes, we're going to have a look back at a fantastic victory in Oriel Park tonight. We'll also have a quick look back on our UCD victory on Friday night as well. And to go through both of these games, we're joined by Gally tonight. Gally, how are you, pal?
Even. Not too bad.
Not too often we get a double header on a bank holiday weekend, and we went with 2 victories, so it's a nice for a change.
I was actually trying to think of. I think we
first time this season.
Yeah, and I think we done. Did we do one with 2 defeats on the bounce, or 2? Was it maybe 2 years ago? And it was an awful. Like the shows are bad enough anyway, but it was an awful show. I think it ended up being 3 in a week or something like that. When it was all said and done. But look, hopefully not this week. We're going for a hat-trick this week.
Yeah, we'll make things much easier. Gally, we'll cast our eyes back to Friday night first to set the scene for today. I suppose really 2 incidents that whole game kind of hinged on. One was Dundalk getting the penalty just before half-time, Darrell Horgan converting that one. Hard to see, but if Mayowa goes over, you had to definitely give him a good push, is what I would say, because he doesn't look like the lad who go down that easy.
Yeah, and at the time when you're watching it, I rewatched it just a couple of minutes just to make sure. But if you can, it's easy said. When you're watching the replay, if you slow it down, you can see a hand go out. The question is, if there's enough on it. But I mean, if you put your hand out in a box, and you go either look like you're tugging a jersey or you're pushing someone, and they hit the ground. And Mayowa, in fairness, is not one of those players. Look, everybody has it in them, but I mean, I think if you're stupid enough as a defending team against a corner, against a clever team like Dundalk, an experienced team, despite the young age, and you put your hand out or you try and reach out or lunge, anything like that, you're asking for it. You saw it today with some of even the decisions today's game, not to flip-flop from one game, but there was frees been given that the referee didn't see, because you can always just assume the way the player went down that it's automatically free kick, and that was probably a case of that against UCD. It's if you're looking at VAR and Premier Division, Premier League and things, it gets reversed more than likely. But in the heat of the moment, you can't freeze frame on a live game when you're watching it as a ref. I can totally understand, and absolutely, we're going to obviously a stone wall because we badly needed that bit of luck. And we said it. I don't know how many years for Shamrock Rovers and last couple of seasons, and when you're on that kind of crest or wave, you get a bit of luck, and God knows we've been due it, and that's you tend to get that when you're in the ascendancy in a league title. Now, if you're talking about the game as a whole, UCD will be absolutely fuming, still probably annoyed that they didn't get it from the game, if not even won it, never mind a draw. But I mean, teams where we are in the league, we're going to get that little bit of luck, and sometimes you need it, and it goes your way. So if you're down the bottom of the league, it doesn't go your way at all, and we've just come off the better for it.
I suppose then the other Stonewall penalty, and it's converted then by Darrell. But I suppose then the next moment, I mean, to be fair, I thought Enda Minogue had a cracking match in UCD anyway. He was pulling off some really important saves to keep us in that game. Apparently, it's a handball in there. Once again, it's another one that seemed very hard to see for me. But it's a great save by Enda.
Yeah, and to be honest, in any game at that time of the match, it's probably always going to be given, especially in the League of Ireland. I'm not saying there was a crowd baying. It's not like there's thousands at the match. It is UCD Bowl at the end of the day, but on you can't really argue it. You can argue the ball to hand argument. There's a slight touch of it, but I think he was always going to give it. I mean, if you got that much abuse over the first one, that plays in referees' minds. Referees that deny it, that it plays in the mind, but it does. Of course, it has to have an effect. But I think again, you can't put out your hand. Whether in the light of day, it's probably not a penalty, and probably neither of them are. But I mean, in the heat of the moment, it's similar to the first one. The referee's going to give it. Everybody's calling for it. He's under pressure probably from the first one. UCD are definitely their backs up because they probably feel they should have been probably 1-1 in the game, if not 1-0 up by the time we scored the penalty. But again, I can totally see why it's given. But then when you have someone again, the Minogue, who was on fire, had a really, really good game. And he's had some fantastic performances this season, but he's probably a bit of luck saving with the legs. But again, look, you have to be there to stop it. I mean, if he dives a bit earlier, it probably goes in. But that's penalties are like that. It's 50-50, and he's had a decent strike to play off. But I mean, if a goalkeeper dives a little bit earlier, probably goes straight down the middle. But he saved it with his legs. He got a bit of luck. Same with Cherry today. Even if we fast forward today's game, saved with the legs as well. They're all kind of pot shots, I suppose. And yeah, look, UCD will be very annoyed over it. There's no doubt about it. They'll probably think they should have won the match. But again, that's the bit of luck. When teams like us are top of the league and something, we probably haven't got a luckier game all season.
Yeah, you do see a hand go up in the melee that happened straight after ended saves, so you can kind of see why. Like you say, we felt like we were due a bit of luck on it, but just for a second, my heart was in my mouth. I was like, the fact that they'd gone and saved it, pulled off some really good saves before that, and then it looked like when I see it hit the back of the net, I went, "Oh no!"
When it went in, I actually thought in this game. Yeah, I thought it was actually offside. I thought it was he blew it actually for offside more than a handball. It was only when it kind of calmed down after a minute, but again, you're just talking about that little bit of luck, and of course, it's Dundalk all over. You're 1-0 up. You've grinded a win out of it. Have you earned it? I think UCD were probably overall the better team on the night, but it's rare we're going to come out of a game and say that all the season, all the the 1-0s we've had all year. It's rare we're going to come out and say we probably stolen it. But again, it comes down to just perseverance. The lads hung in there. They gave probably everybody a heart attack watching the game, everybody at home. Because it's as good as we've been, and as we've dropped a couple of points along the way. It feels like we should be further ahead. It almost feels like we are further ahead, but we're not. We're still in there. We're still we're a good few games away from getting any kind of run on. But I mean, it's a complete contrast to today's match. But you need a bit of luck. The likes of UCD, no easy place to go. We said it the last time we played them. They play a really good brand of football, and they always have. UCD have always.
The fact that their pitch has been relayed now and it's settled in, they seem to be playing a good brand of football too, and picking up some decent results. Like you say, a really important win. It felt like as well.
Massive.
And then I started thinking, the fact that we've never done the double header, you've probably done the hard game. You've got through it. You've got the 3 points. You're coming into this a home game, and you're thinking probably a better chance of picking up the points on this. Then the team sheet comes out, and you see Peter Cherry's goal after us just praising Enda for the first 10 minutes of the show here. Yeah, that was a strange enough one. I mean, Kieran kind of referenced just a bit of squad rotation and making sure everyone is getting into the team, and of course Rowan Vaughan up front for his first start then as well, Shane Tracy and Wardy in the middle as well. So to be fair, it's a lot of changes for a game that was pivotal to win as well.
Yeah, especially on the back of a doubleheader. It's 3 games in a week. It's not even the doubleheader. You've got 3 games in 8 days, 7 days, and 2 of them being at home. It's a massive call for the goalkeeping situation. It's not like you're bringing on a young fella that's new to football. You're bringing on probably you're talking about the most experienced goalkeeper in the league. But again, the right call. I mean, we have the squad for this. We didn't think we'd see it probably. We can talk. I was talking to I won't say his name, a well-known Dundalk supporter before the match, and we were talking about why so many changes, why why take a chance. But and I would have agreed with it, but then you see the game, look, in the last couple of minutes, there's been a bit of a hair-raising moments, but, we have the squad to do this. And if you're going to get key players on side and keep them fit and keep them wanting to push, especially in the goalkeeping positions, and it's not an easy thing to bring. You got a player like Enda Minogue to bring in Peter Cherry, who is the most experienced, titles, FAA Cups, whatever, he's been around the league. But I mean, he's been excellent. For Dundalk, just from a goalkeeper point of view, he's pulled off some absolutely I won't say his age, but he's early 40s. He's unbelievably fit. He's coaching the goalkeepers. He's been around a long time. He pulled off some absolutely top class saves today and kept us in it. Although we were, if we're talking about Longford, I wouldn't be hammering a team against a team like Dundalk, who are probably, dare I say it, touch wood, Premier League bound not too long from now, but they're easily the worst team I've seen all season, like by a country mile, especially in the first half. They're absolutely shocking. No, I'm watching them in context of tonight's match. I haven't watched them all season. I'm not going to pretend I have. But from that performance, they'll be really disappointed. Really, really disappointed. But again,
I think the important thing is probably to caveat that with the conditions there tonight, and they were obviously up against the breeze in the first half as well, which wouldn't have made things easier. And you'll see when they did get a goal back, we did look shaky for the next 5 minutes, probably after that, until the game was probably put to bed later on. But the like I said,
the factor of change. Yeah, the changes. Like, the players are going to come in and they're looking for the position. You're going to be up against it straight out the gate. Like,
and then two early injuries as well.
Yeah,
and 2 forced substitutions, I suppose, on the Longford line, kind of
especially
Grove's chances of anything ideas he had up his sleeve to maybe stay in the game and late substitutes and make that's gone then when you've got to make 2 substitutes on it as well. So one person, obviously who we praise on the pod, and we've been a sponsor for the past 2 years as well, Owen Kenny. Every time I do see the teams come out, you kind of wonder, where's Owen going to fit on this? Is he over left, right? Where he never up front. He wasn't up front again today, but in particular in that first half, that's one of Owen's best performances. Not alone for the goal, but to provide 2 assists in the game as well, it is excellent from him. Probably, would you say, is his best performance so far in the Dundalk shirt, especially this year?
Definitely the most complete performance. He's been very, very strong. I think it was down. Was it a Cove or was it Cove? I can't remember what game it was. And there was kind of minutes where you have 10 minutes of really strong, and then might go missing and back. And I thought he was easily the most consistent player on the pitch today. I thought he was absolutely, like, he occupied 2 players at one stage. They just couldn't deal with it. I thought he was absolutely sensational. His running with the ball, he probably done more running with the ball than running off and looking for chances today. I thought he was absolutely sensational. I know we're not getting into the match end of it yet, but
it's going on a landslide in one direction.
Don't get me wrong, just 1 or 2 performances, and but I thought he was sensational. For me, it's got to be right up there with anything he's produced before. For a complete, 0 to 90 minutes or however long he came on, 70 odd, whatever he was subs off it. I thought he was absolutely top class. Absolutely top class. They had no answer for him. Like, even when you think of, Dean Ebby had dropped in, between Vaughan had dropped in as well at one stage. But it was just a complete performance from everybody. The top 3-4 were absolutely top class today. I thought Vaughan occupied, like, I don't think I've seen a faster player than Vaughan all season across the pitch.
For a big lad.
He reminds me of like a Danny North. He's kind of stocky, quick, gets himself about, but he's so fast. Like, it's not that his legs are fast, you know what I mean? His covering of distance and short bursts of speed is absolutely, like, it's one of the quickest I've seen. And I think, look, he's unlucky with his chance that then drops to Owen Kenny, ironically. But I mean, that's a real player there. And he's managed, obviously, look, Ruby's probably missed out. He's come on late on, but Vaughan has occupied the space, and Dean Ebby in behind him. We didn't know whether it would work. Dean Berbatov.
Dean Ebby, we've seen him play in that kind of 10 in behind the striker, and I actually find he's probably more productive in that, because he's there, especially when you have someone like Vaughan tonight up top, because he occupies defenders. Yeah, he's exactly. Like I say, he's running channels, he's busting himself around. Defenders know he's around, and that probably allowed Dean Ebby to kind of flow a little bit more in between. Hence his 2 goals today.
Yeah, but play. It's almost like the way Pat Hoopin could have dropped into as a 10. Dean has that in his. He has that.
Well, Stephen McDonald did mention it, I think, on comms today. He's like a young Pat Hoopin in his physique and all that he has for it. But to go to the first goal, like, it's a bit of pressure we put on. Like, we seen the early chance come off the post from Ed Irvin as well. So I think at that stage we kind of seen that they were sitting back slightly, probably trying to get to terms maybe with this breeze that was happening, because it was hanging the ball up in the air for us in that first half, and causing a lot of hassle. Like, any ball, I would say, that was probably above 2 inches in the air was hanging up for 5. But like I say, the ball's pinched off and played into Horgan, who cuts the ball back to Rowan Vaughan. It's a good save by the keeper. Comes back out to Ed Irvin and like calmly kind of, but the position he kind of gave it to Owen, it didn't look like it was that easy to control. But to be fair to Owen, he takes it down on one touch and was able to turn his whole body and unleashes a hell of a volley, obviously using a bit of that wind behind it there too. But
yeah, and you could probably argue that, but you can argue if you're really looking at technical, can they close him down quicker? But I mean, anybody's going from 30 yards and closing down quicker. But I mean, the wind definitely has played a little bit of a. I don't know whether it's taken it out of the keeper's way. The keeper's probably a bit annoyed over. He's slightly a bit too far off his line for me, but I mean, take nothing away from the strike. I mean, it's first time.
I think the power behind it at that close range inside the box, it's a hard one to try to come across and save in any way. But you could see Owen's relief then after it. Like, I think he was as much as anyone, wanted to get those goals and just get.
And the fact that it was an early goal as well, an early first half. You're not waiting until like the 70th minute, the 60th minute when there's nothing happening for him. He's getting frustrated. I think
it felt like that settled the nerves a little, though, didn't it?
Yeah. And he was excellent up to the day anyway, but that just came to right. Well, this is going to be, it's not going to be easy, but I'm going to get into this now and look. We don't, his effort and his guile and his performance, it's not that we're hammering for it. We just like to get him on the score sheet a bit more because, he's local, I suppose, as local can be. I know he's born in Derry, but, he's gone to the school, he's played for Rock. You want the local lads to do well. And I just think that just set him up for a game today that we probably haven't seen from him all season. It's been there, he's knocking on the door all year, but for me, he was top class today. Top class.
Yeah, I think from a Longford point of view, they're probably there's 4 players around Owen, and no one gets there quick enough and reacts quick enough.
If you're talking about the defensive work itself, and it was coming, and you can nitpick, you got to close him down. Nobody's even marking Vaughan coming in either. You can put it down to just it's his first chance of the game. If that comes in probably 5 minutes later, it's different. But the defensive work, and I think Manus had mentioned there as well. Yeah, look, we were talking about Longford chances, as bad as they were, they had chances. I mean, they had. If you go later in the game, they also had won the first half as well, and they've hit the post. It's not like
1-0. There's a very good save from Peter Cherry.
Yeah.
And there's a great save from Peter Cherry. It felt like the only way the Longford were getting back into it was an implosion from us, but we kept just, whether it was the conditions or maybe the changes, whatever, but there didn't seem to be a lot of fluidity at times, in particular in that first half. And we just kept giving ththese little opportunities to Longford. And like I say, it's a good save by Peter Cherry in the start, but we have possession and we just lose possession. They pinch on it, come flying out, and it's a good save with Pete with his legs. And we're lucky that the rebound on that just never seems to come down for the player then as well. But
the wind
could very easily been 1-0.
Yeah, there was times in the game today, the wind. I mean, we knew the weather was going to be like that. I didn't actually think it would have that much of an influence on it. Now, look, I'm not saying that we were excellent. It's not like 2 teams are playing against the wind at one stage, but it was almost playing like, remember the Champion Cup balls? It looked like you were playing that street football. It looked like the ball had it was just helium. It was crazy.
I think we just hang up and fly like that.
Yeah, I don't remember it. It's always cold and windy. It can be like that in Oriel Park at times, but I don't think I've ever seen it influence a game like that. Even Mayo was struggling with long balls that come over his head, and he kind of had to re-step himself. I think 1 or 2 come off his shoulder going for a head and clearance. We coped with it. Unfortunately, Longford didn't, and they allowed the wrong people in on goal. We even look at Darrell Hogan's chances early. He blazed one into Tara Mullen's chip shop. It just, the wind just took it miles out, absolutely miles out. And normally on a normal night in Oriel Park, that would go in, but or make the keeper work for it. But I mean, we can talk about the wind all night, but take nothing away. As good as we were, Longford will definitely be disappointed over it. Maybe I've been over, but definitely from what I've seen at Oriel this year, it's probably the worst I've seen. I'm not saying they're like that all the time. Because I'm not going to pretend I watched them when the dog aren't playing. But they're definitely, I mean, look, like you rightly say as well, they've too early. They're making this, I think it's one of the centre backs have to come on, and even the way they warm up, like that. Obviously, there was a warm up happening before the game. The subs were all warming up. It wasn't even an intense warm up. They were playing like a rondo, and it was just it was something I do with the kids at the Bells, chiller. was just, there was no kind of intensity with it. So these boys, it looked like they weren't ready to go even to come off the bench. But look, it's something. There's one or two footballers that they have, but I mean, I wouldn't be overly confident they'll get many more wins at the end of the season. But look, take nothing away from us. We were excellent, and you have to be excellent. You got to be at it, in that kind of weather, and it's, an early game as well on a Monday. The crowd is not exactly massive, so you don't have them behind you as much as you'd like. But yeah, look, it is a 5 o'clock on the bank holiday Monday. But take nothing away from the game and the performance. I just thought we were excellent. Unusually. It's a game where we were fantastic, but we're not going to sit here and say there was 5 or 6 that could win man of the match. It's not one of them nights where, goalkeeper to striker, we've just been top class. There's different mentions for different ones, but the people we wanted to step up and take the game with the scruff of the neck did, and yeah, I thought we were really strong, really, really strong, and it's good to add, especially after Friday night as well.
Probably another thing that we're not too used to, and that's coming in with a 2-goal lead at halftime as well for this Dundalk side. But to go and do that fabulous Mirandering run by young Kenny, he seemed to probably take half the team with him at one stage. They all kind of come tearing down after him, chopped up the heels, somehow stays on his feet. Hard to see at the time. I wasn't too sure if he was just cutting the ball back, or was it a kind of tame shot that he was trying to cross the keeper?
It did look like a half. Yeah, it did look like a kind of a off the heel almost, his left peg shot. It did look like one of them. But I mean, again, we're talking about luck. You need luck when you're at the top, and we've got it again there. But I mean, the run is.
But that's probably where you want Dean Ebbe to kind of just peeling off, let Owen kind of pull away the defenders and stuff like that, and just to redirect the ball back into the corner. Probably a scrappy goal that we don't see enough from him.
Yeah, like you said, they chased him. It was like a car chase on a helicopter. They chased America. So it was all the cars, all the cops just going after him. They just couldn't deal with him. He was just so like him and Vinnie Leonard going across the ground are just absolute machines.
Very natural looking, isn't it?
Oh, it's crazy. And like when he's in full flight. I hate repeating myself. I always had to repeat myself because I get hammered for it and we come off later on. But text messages. Robbie Benson is unbelievable full flight, but Owen Kenny's not that far. When he's at it, when he's on it. I mean, I know we're talking first division, and I know at the opposition, we can argue over that, but there was times he was unplayable today, absolutely unplayable, sensational. And when you're occupying players, because nobody could deal with him, because you couldn't foul him because you knew what was going to happen.
No. Well, that's it. Once he had made his way into his box, you could see they were scared to touch him again.
And he just drove. There was no hesitation. He was on it. There was no kind of, I might check me run here, I might track back. No, he was hell-bent on getting in there and coming in from the right wing as well so far. Look, that's just natural football. There's nobody, that doesn't go on in training. Like the two boys don't tell him, look, take that ball in midfield and go for a run there. That doesn't happen. It's just a naturally, so he sees the gaps and he takes them, and he's taking complete advantage of it. It's all in the brain, and it's just natural football. It's great to see.
So we've got a 2-goal lead at half time, and like we said already, probably Longford have lost some influential or key starting personnel as well due to injury. We start the second half okay as well. There's that double crossbar hit. I think it was J.R. Wilson, I think, had the original header, and then Vinnie Leonard with the follow-up on that. I'm still not too sure how that didn't go in. In particular, Vinnie Leonard.
Right out of the stand, it was blocked off. The second one, they were roaring. I haven't seen the replay. They were roaring that went over the line. Now, I don't know how close it was.
It looks seriously close, but there's there's a hell of a bunch of players in front.
Yeah, it's the camera angle. Would be way too tight to tell, probably. But
Vinnie Leonard turned straight to the keeper or to the referee, as if to protest that it did cross the line. But
it'd be interesting to see if we had another angle. But yeah, look, you just couldn't see it from where I was, but they were definitely, Keith Ward was adamant it was in. But look, I mean, again, that's just, it's just relentless. That's what you wanted. You have that chance, and we go down a couple of minutes, we grab another one. But it if nothing else, those kind of chances create a bit of buzz about the place, because it was kind of like you said, we came out in the second half, and there was times when you're thinking, God, they've started really slow, and it's not that they started slow; it's that we were so intense in the first half. It looked like it was pedestrian, but it wasn't really. We've been a lot slower.
You're also against the breeze in the second half as well.
Yeah. So it did look like a lot more. They were getting a bit frustrated. And then, we kind of make a couple of subs, and then Longford kind of step back into, and you're thinking, has he made the subs at the wrong time? Has he made too many subs? But I mean, you know, you're probably not.
I think that first sub is probably forced because we might as well get talking about that third goal. As you said, it's not too long after the double crossbar incident. Another ball swept back in again, and this time the header is forced down, and Dean Ebbe pounces on it and volleys, giving the keeper no chance whatsoever at the near post. It seemed like perhaps the way he twisted his body or the way he was reaching for the shot, he seemed to just kind of strain himself a touch to get it. And then down he went. Yeah. After it, Kieran said that he wouldn't have taken him off. He was letting him have his hat trick, but once that strain looked like he had that he had done himself a mischief in scoring the third goal. And I felt like we needed that third goal. Like you say, we probably didn't settle into the game as well as we could have, or whether that was conditions or whatever. But that third goal it seemed to kind of ease the tension around Oriel Park slightly too.
Yeah, the Dundalk always need the third goal. No matter how good it's going, we always need that third one. Like you say, it's rare we find ourselves 2-0 up at half time, but we always need another one, because it's not that we're not, you know, like you look at it, even UCD last week, it's 1-0. How many 1-0s have we had this year? It's not that we need the second goal. We always look susceptible. There's always a chance. We always give teams a chance. Like Manus had said that Peter Cherry had to put off a great save in the sack, 2 great saves actually. One with, you know, not top corner, but it was going in, and you know, and they've hit the post. I think they've hit the post.
They hit the post as well, yeah.
They laid on as well. So we always give a team a chance, no matter how poor they are, how good we are. So there's always that, you want that little bit of gap. But even with, you know, I still would have expected us to score maybe another one, probably 5, 6. We're probably worth another goal or two. But again, like you say, Dean Ebbe.
Well, Ruan Vaughan has that chance. Owen slides him in, and you're thinking, I think on GoCom, Stephen McDonald said, take it round the keeper. But for some reason, Ruan tries to whether chip the keeper or just kind of dink it past him. But there was acres of space there. Yeah.
And that when you're because there was a cover and centre back as well, you would absolutely need to leather that and just hope for the best, because there is no really place in the ball like that because of the wind, and the keeper's he's kind of out in the angle out around the box.
He does, yeah.
But I mean, Vaughan's that pacey. I mean, like if he goes right, he'll know for the next time, because I'd say it's just maybe just an eagerness to score. You're early doors in your Dundalk career, just you want to get on the score sheet because everybody else is. But I mean, if he just goes round him, whether or not he would have found the angle with the wind, the score would have been a hell of a finish because he would have dragged it definitely another 5 yards past him out to the right. But yeah, I'd say if he had his time again, you know, when you have time to think, you probably try and go round it. But I think he was probably that eager to score. But again, he probably sees the purple jersey coming out to absolutely clean him out. But there was a cover in centre back. I think, on another night without the wind, you know, you might have a wee bit more of a stay on or strike on it. But I think the wind was always going to play a factor in that, even if he got around him. But look, eager for his goal. Unlucky not to score.
I was going to say that. I felt it was just the eagerness to get that first goal. And was there.
He was absolutely. He was absolutely excellent. Like, he was an absolute nuisance for the centre backs. And that's what we said about Pat Hooper. He dropped in, he let Ebby go round him, Owen go round him, get back in, like, quick strength, head the ball. Like, his head, he's similar to Dean Ebby, that he can head the ball down and get people into play. Owen Kenny can do the same. Yeah, look, he looks like an absolute player as well. Get him on a couple of years contract there if we get away with it. But he's done himself absolutely fantastic today as well. Probably everything but a goal.
Exactly, everything but. That did prove to be his last action of it, and at that stage, then, you know, I think we were able to probably make a few changes. Killer obviously was able to take off Darrell Horgan and the like, Wardy the same in that, and be able to bring in Harry Groom, and McDade then as well. McDade's unlucky; he nearly tees up. A great blister run, runs right at the centre back, steals the ball. Runs back in, cuts it back, and Harry Groom just puts it the wrong side of the post. It's super close. And up to that point, you think everything's okay. We're in complete control here. But Dundalk do what Dundalk do sometimes, and like you just said, we do just allow teams back in, from the corner, a header straight in. Like you just said, the elements, it's probably holding the ball up a little in there, perfect for the attackers coming in, and doesn't leave Peter Cherry with too much to do on that close range header like that.
Yeah, I mean, like that's it is one of them that it's that pace. He's just added to the corner. It's come in, it's whipped in with the wind as well. Not a lot the keeper can do. Yeah, look, you can be marked out of it better. But I mean, the pace and the cross, all he's doing is get a nod at any kind of nod. Like any defender heads is probably the wrong way to the back of the net as well. But again, like we said, we gave him that chance, and then for maybe probably 2 or 3 minutes after that, that's probably with 6 or 7 minutes to go, I think.
Yeah, 13 minutes to go, 77. I think they scored.
77 was it that early? I didn't think it was that early. But for the next few, probably early 80 minutes, then Longford looked like, right, if they grab another one here, we're back to this crack of we can't hold on, we can't hold up his.
Yeah, but 3 minutes later is one off the post.
Yeah, and you can hear the crowd. You can see the crowd behind the dugouts, like looking to the stand, going, "Oh, it's going to be one of them nights." I could see Darren Meenan, comments in the show where he was off, his face when they hit the post. Like everybody's just like, oh, it's going to be one of these nights. It's just going to be, because if they got the 3-2, it's open season then. They'd just be pelting Peter Cherry with shots, because that the bit of breeze might put them off.
If we were talking about at half time, we were thinking, was it this fixture first round of when we played Longford? It was actually Pete's first game of the season, and we remember it was long throws they were putting in, and then all of a sudden in that second half, I see them launching in the long throws again. Plus that wind in behind, I was like, oh no. And we looked nervy. We, in that sort of a breeze, it wasn't just first ball you had to contest, it was second and third at times. It had to be a fair whack of concentration, bit of head tennis, and like there was I think just before the concession of the corner for the goal, we'd taken Mayowa off and brought on O'Keefe, and O'Keefe plays the ball back to Peter Cherry on his wrong foot. And with the breeze, Pete just thinks he's just putting his foot through it, but the ball nearly comes back into the box again, and it's kind of headed, it goes out for the corner, and then we do concede. Like these little things were just starting to sneak in to our game, and in those sort of conditions, I thought it was going to be a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, and when you mentioned the sub, you always take a risk. I mean, obviously, look, there's, you might get an injury, things like that, but because we'd made the subs, we brought on Parashif as well. I think he brought Parashif on. Who came on with Parashif? Was it McDade as well? They come on at the same time.
McDade and Groom came on.
Yes, obviously McDade scores later on, but you made the subs, and you're kind of thinking, geez, they made the subs at the wrong time. Have they kind of gone a wee bit too kind of all of this in? Because we've been praising the subs all season.
Yeah,
and look, and in the hindsight, it's worked. It hasn't been an issue. But when a team like Longford have not done enough to probably be happy with themselves in a performance, we sniff a goal. Like you said, they've hit the post. They've gone with the long balls against Peter Cherry. Where it was earlier in the game, I have no idea. But they've obviously tried to take advantage of the last couple of minutes, because they know that we do cough up chances. We do give a team a little bit of kind of horizon there. And look, they don't always get it, but we've been guilty of it earlier in the season. But you're just kind of wary of, geez, if we've gone a wee bit too... Because I noticed they put Parashif straight into the middle of the park. They didn't give him a wing or high up the field. They put him right in as almost just a sitting centre midfielder. So I think they've left it a wee bit open for probably to get forward. But sometimes you have to... we would all look a wee bit, I suppose. Just maybe with the subs, maybe the timing of it. But we should have enough of the tank. Enough, like when you start, when you can make that many subs from Friday night to tonight. I can imagine playing that well, you can bring on Harry Groom. You didn't have to bring him on. I was annoyed young Malloy didn't get a run out. Players like that, like McDade was actually really strong when he came on. I was surprised he actually brought him on. I thought he was really strong himself, and I can't remember who laid on the cross. Was it Kenny again?
Kenny, yeah. So Kenny runs down the right, kind of
cross one night, and there was nobody there. It just we weren't getting on the left or the right. Well, McDade straight.
The thing I liked about it from Owen, so it's a long clearance kind of over the top, and Owen chases the ball down. Clearly looks up and sees that there's just that exact situation, that there's nobody in the box. So he just puts his foot on the ball for a second and allows the defender to come in. And by the time the defender chooses to kind of engage with Owen rolls his foot over the ball into the space, knocks it down. And at that stage, McDade is now running around the back. And I think it could have been a Ruby running in. Was he on at that stage? is running to the front post, and I suppose all you're looking for is your opposite winger is to be making that inward run to the back post, and that's where you'll try to hit your momentum of the ball coming one direction and you run towards goal. It can often lead to a goal, and that's exactly what happened. So both wingers kind of playing it around to each other, but the fact that Owen just put his foot on that ball for a split second allowed that opportunity from Arubi to run to the front post, occupy the defenders, which allows McDade then to get in around the back.
Yeah, I just see Manus mentioned there as well. But we haven't even mentioned him yet. Wilson at right back was like immense. It was
yeah.
I mean,
I think there was actually another shout from it was Tim Tomato actually was just saying Wilson for man of the match.
Absolutely sensational. He could play. He can play right wing back.
We played left in UCD.
Absolutely, he was absolutely sensational today. And definitely an option if we needed someone maybe on the wing to go forward a little bit. Yeah, he's like Manus has said, the two signings have been exactly what we've needed. We kind of doubted whether we need more players. We thought we might get a few going out, so we might bring a few in. But I think the signings have been shrewd again, and it hasn't altered anything. It's I'm not saying it's massively improved us. We're not saying we needed those positions, but Wilson's come in and been absolutely fantastic. It looks like he's going to hold his own there. Obviously, with Kyo going and all the money buys are going to take in from him, I really hope they got a cracking contract down the line for international appearance for that fella. But I mean, look, you've almost forgot he's gone. I don't mean this to be disrespectful. We kind of just blown past. He's out. Look, it's best of luck to him, and we're straight back in. And these boys are there to pick up the mantle from him. But Wilson today as well was just another player that was just fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Before we can get back into just on Frank's comment there with 10 games to go, I did see Luke Murphy dropping in one there. Campbell's tackle on Peter Cherry in that second half. He looked to clatter him. How is that?
That completely slipped my mind until he just said it. Yeah, that was an app. And what's worse is Owen Kenny got a yellow card. Was it early in the first half?
Early in the first half.
That was a bit late. But if that's a yellow card,
no, it was Vinny Leonard got one. There was absolutely nothing in it. Yeah. Vinny Leonard just clipped at the back of someone's heel and got a yellow card in the first 10 minutes. I was going like, what? He now has to be on the tightrope for 80 minutes of a match.
Yeah,
and then you come out and completely chop Peter
Jeffrey. Like it's not even late. There's a bit of malice in that. There's a bit of even if he's missed the ball, you don't go at a keeper.
You can't put your foot that high up.
You can't put your foot that high. No matter what you're going for. So I thought that was a wee, but I thought he'd done well to just not. I think he'd done well to kind of knock it his marching orders. But look, no major injury or Pete, hopefully. But that's something that was a wee because Owen's tackling in particular slightly late, but it was that early in the game. You kind of with the way the wind was and two players going full pelt for a ball. His momentum was obviously. Managed to got to the ball a little bit quicker. Momentum was taking him over a wee bit, but I think it was a harsh yellow. But then you have to be consistent with that the whole way. So if it's if the one against Cherry's only a yellow, my God. Look again. I haven't seen the replay.
I wonder if there was something more in the game. Could it have been different? Because I think the Dundalk players would have piled in on that a lot more. But I think and like I say, I think it could have easily been a red. And Jason's just saying, the ref was tough work on, as if the commentator wasn't bad enough at times.
And in fairness to him, there was incidents tonight, even referee, that he was given free kicks that he didn't see. He was just assuming they were free kicks because he was watching the ball. And so was the line. The linesman on the stand side, I don't know how many free kicks he missed. Because he was too busy staying in line with the centre backs. He wasn't actually watching the match. But the UCD one, look, we even talk about just the penalty instances UCD. There's probably two of them that aren't. But look, that's sure many times we said it. Like I don't remember the last time we come on. The refs had a stormer. Like when was the last time we've done that?
Where there hasn't been referees.
There's always something in the League of Ireland. It's just the way it is. Look, it's the way it's not the way they are. It's just the way the referee. I don't know how you fix it. I mean, look, fair play for putting up the hands of the referee, and you can't argue because I wouldn't do it. How do you fix it? I don't know. I mean, look, some of it's horrendous. It really is horrendous. And the problem is it lowers the standards of the league in people's eyes when there's some decisions that are made like that. it's hard enough to keep League of Ireland afloat, teams afloat. But I mean, when you're refereeing, you're dealing with that every week. It's not all of them, but it's a good chunk of them to get really silly decisions and make silly decisions.
Yeah, I think kind of Frank and Sean are kind of asking us to talk maybe about the rest of the season. So I think before we get into that, do you want to wrap up our man of the match competition? This is going one way, Gally.
I would
for the nominal little nods to Jake Wilson, but
yeah, Wilson for me would be definitely in the like he'd definitely be in the discussion for a slice of the pizza if Owen gets it. But I mean, Owen Kenny today was, I mean, it's the first day and not that he's been bad. It's the first time I don't think I've come on here and not mentioned Billy Leonard in the game of football. And it's not that he's been bad. Owen Kenny's just been outstanding. I thought Vaughan as well was excellent. But I mean, Owen Kenny was just unplayable. Absolutely unplayable. It helps that he's sponsored by the Town End podcast. But he was just sensational. Running, his effort. We never excuse his effort. His effort's never in question. We just like to get a few more goals. Like the nonchalant way he just hit that ping today. You could argue the keeper's a wee bit off the line, but you have to see the space of the keeper's off the line. You still have to kick it. For me, I don't think there's any. I highly doubt we're going to disagree here, but I wouldn't. I don't see going any other way with Owen Kenny. I did just sensational. It probably worked 2 pizzas. Probably came for next week's man of the match as well before the game starts.
I think he, as we mentioned at the very start, it's probably his most complete performance. 100%. Takes his goal extremely well, occupies all the defenders, and the run in particular, he must have run about 30 yards with the ball and took all the defenders away for Dean Ebby's first and our second. And like I say, to hold up the play slightly and then to bend the ball around to McDade at the back post for the 4 goal and it's probably one that we did need in that game as well to get it a little bit more cooler and calmer to get to the end of full time. So definitely for me would be okay. Like this is pretty much a landslide if ever there was one.
That's probably the biggest landslide we've had all season, I think.
I think it has to be because normally there's the old A. Dervins and like I say, Vinnie Leonard's thrown in there each week and then a Ruby if he's got a brace or something. But I think we'll look because that's going to be the next segment we're going to talk about as well. I think we'll give it to Frank tonight. Congratulations, Frank. To be fair, you comment in nearly every week, so it's about the time you got a pizza out of it. I'm sure he will say as well. Man of the match at Kenny, he was immense today. Vaughan also looked good. So congratulations, Frank. There is a 15-inch pizza on us there in Tony's Pizzeria. So get on to Vinny and the lads there and let them know that it's on the Town End.
Right.
As I just mentioned there, Gally, so we're now down to 10 matches.
Hard to believe.
It really is. It felt like it took an eternity to start. The middle dragged out like you wouldn't believe, and now it's flying around. You're very welcome, Frank. At least I feel good now that at least some kids were fed. I'd be worried if he didn't win that. Of course, it'd be the other side. But 10 games left, Gally. It feels like you can't afford a mistake now. And I'm looking at Cove last game of the season, and then Bray is in there as well. You don't want it to hang on those particular results. You want to do your business elsewhere.
Yeah, and because we always worried at the start of the year, we got that. It's not that we got off to a flyer. We were winning games, and we were kind of a lot of 1-0s, a lot of early kind of you were just doing enough to get over the line without really kicking on. But now we have to kick on. Now we just have to stay consistent. I don't think we're probably going to get as much luck for the rest of the season as we did last Friday night. But I 100% think we're too strong not to win it. I think we would have to absolutely. I don't mean going on a bad run, but other teams would have to improve that highly to catch us. And it's not like, what are we talking? I'm just going to cheat here and look at the table. We're 6. Are we 6 clear?
6 clear. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like we're 10, 12 clear at the top. But like straight out the gate, of these 10, we have to be bet twice, and Cove can't drop any points. You know, so even the likelihood of that and Cove not being bet, you know, we should be too strong. Now, look, I don't want to be sitting here in 8 games time going, where did it all go wrong?
Well,
you'd have to comfortably predict that we will go up, and you'd have to be arrogant enough to think that, you know, we really should be going up as champions. But look, 10 games is 10 games. It's massive. We have the squad for it. We have the players. We have young players. We've got, you know, Rowan Vaughan that's come in. We've also got, you know, like, even when you look at Vinnie Leonard today, Mayo's gone off. Vinnie Leonard's, you know, covered the two of them. Conor O'Keefe, you know, little bit, you know, has the brain for centre back, a little bit slower than the rest. Look, he's an elder statesman, I suppose, of the group. You look at somebody like Vinnie Leonard, 14 years of age or whatever he is. He gets younger every week he plays football. You know, sensational again today. Not even mentioned for the pizza, unfortunately, because Owen Kenny's just been sensational. But we should have enough. And the big thing, if you're taking nothing else, the substitutes that were made today, the fact that we can do that, 48, 70, whatever it is, 76 hours after the last game, you know, it goes to show that there's enough there. There's enough kind of in and around the squad, I suppose, not just the starting 11. I think that group there could go against most teams, and we could almost pick any 11. That's where we are. Everybody's fit. Everybody's match fit. Everybody's getting the minutes. Yes, there's one or two. Maybe Malloy would be annoyed over his minutes. I'd probably be annoyed more for him. I think people watching probably be more annoyed for him, especially today's game. But there's enough there. The signings have been shrewd, to say the least. I mean, we've probably made 2 or 3 of the best signings of either division. You know, in the last couple of weeks, Wilson's been. He's not a find. Everybody knows him, but you know, McDade's been around. Rowan Vaughan's obviously raw, new. You know, I really think we have to absolutely have a couple of thinkers. The big thing for me is other teams can't drop points. So we've created that little cushion where other teams can't afford points to be dropped, but they will. I would expect the 2 teams behind us to probably drop points twice, at least.
Well, let's talk about next weekend. We're at home to Athlone, and Bray are at home to Cove. So one of the guys is going to drop points, or both, in that fixture.
You're ideally looking for. I mean, you could be looking for a draw. What a Bray on Bray off 50. I mean,
Bray only drew a win as well.
Tonight. Yeah, you can argue a Bray win, but a draw would be ideal. You know, there's a way, like, if Bray won, Cork don't get any points, but then Bray will shoot it, or not Cork, Cove will shoot it. Bray will go ahead of Cork. My God, Cove, Andrew, it's Cove, it's not Cork. Cork are worse than Cove for the minute. But a draw would be ideal for us. But again, we have to keep winning. But I just think we've enough there, even barring any dodgy kind of stupid injuries, or somebody drop a TV remote in the foot, something like that. Or, you know, the falling against the sink, something stupid. We've enough in the tank to do it. And you'd like maybe be a different conversation. Maybe the fact that it's double figures, it sounds like a long time. It's not. I mean, you're talking a couple of weeks here, and we should be. I mean, if things go to plan, we should be sitting here ideally in 7 games time, and it should be done. But you know, that's wishful thinking, because we have to play these boys along the way. Cove last game of the season. If we're still fighting at that stage,
you want that to be the
we've
trophy
done something horribly wrong. 100%. It's got to all come down to that. You got to be focusing on that. Medals, trophies, celebrations. You know, Mullins chip shop flat out. Everybody down to the square. That's what we're looking for. That's the date.
As much as important that we pick up maximum points, obviously at home, next week with the 2 guys playing each other. The fixture after that, Gally, away to Treaty, the one team we cannot beat this year.
So, yeah, they're the Bray of the noughties, of the 10s. But it's not. You'd like to think we'd be that buoyant and that kind of. But then I think I said something. Last time. Treaty are very similar. So I don't really want to say it, but Treaty are just that team.
They just seem to have. Is it the way they play? Is it?
They set themselves up, They set themselves up to play, and they're not afraid. They're not afraid to go at Dundalk either. We've seen it twice this season already. And in other games they've been poor. I've seen highlights of other matches that they played, and they've been really poor back.
It's just they never seem to be poor against us.
I don't know if it's just maybe positional they change, or maybe a mentality thing with Dundalk. Tony's right. Yeah. Like left back. Yeah, you know, you'd love to have it kept until the end of the season. But I still think there's enough there. You know, young Tracy, you've Mulligan, you've McHale's not there. He's in the stands today.
Yeah,
but
I think you're probably looking maybe at Sean Spate down the line.
Yeah.
Eventually, a bit like we done with Sean Q. But
Yeah.
you probably need somebody as a stopgap there because
you need your Wilsons maybe to swap over. Maybe someone with a bit of experience, someone that's got it in the leg. Sean Spade is, as a talented player as he is, probably again similar to Malloy.
Just too young, 17 or whatever.
And hasn't got the minutes to kind of, maybe you bleed him in over the next couple of games, but hasn't got the minutes to kind of go in there and start. Not that look, I know better set of coaches will probably put him in, but I don't think they will.
No, that's it. Just on Anne's point there, the blend that Kieran and Ken have done with this team and getting it right. And I think the blend right now, the experience of bringing in J.R. Wilson and McDade, that's probably what's getting us across the line in these difficult games. And
because we probably would have argued we didn't need McDade. You probably could have argued there's enough there, but then you look at it and you're like, God, no, like that's a really shrewd signing. That's a really
that was probably our strongest bench today. Yeah, it was probably our strongest bench.
Right across the front, he could probably do a job at the back if you wanted a left wing back. You're really struggling. But yeah, a really shrewd signing. Wilson's been sensational as well, and we could argue we probably didn't need numbers, but then when you look at it there, you're thinking, God, yeah, maybe we do. If people aren't firing on all cylinders, a couple of injuries here and there, it's you have Gax out as well, so that played a big problem.
Yeah, of course.
McDade coming in, so yeah, no, it's been really good from the boys, and look, I keep mentioning the first time we spoke to them, they went on with the youth and how hungry they are, and yeah, look, I think they've been really, really clever with what they've done. And 10 games ago, I never thought we'd get to this point this season. We'd only 10 games to go. It seems such a long year, and we're probably finished a month earlier, 3 weeks earlier in the Premier Division, are we?
Because we've got playoffs and everything else. I think that's hence why we're the only ones on the doubleheader the weekend. There's no Premier Division teams in there, and they've all obviously got Europe and bits and pieces. So fixtures start kind of a backlog at this time, as we know.
Look, as at this point, we've no cup run, so look, it's unfortunate, but look, it means it's out of the way. It's just league all the way now, and let's just get it out. Let's just grind down the games and get them done.
I think Frank was saying there you get 6 wins from the 10, and I think the good news is that Finn Harps is at home. We don't have to go back up to Ballybuffet again. And
Cove will be bet. Bray will be bet.
Something's going to happen next weekend. It's impossible for both of them to win.
We should be just not cruise to it, but I mean, like Frank's right. We should be sitting here now, 3 games to go, and it should be ideally we'd have it wrapped up. Now the two boys, if I don't know who listens to the show, but they're probably thinking, lads, don't be talking like that. But look, that's with the squad we have.
We've probably put ourselves in a position that we can start to think about these things. But it's at the same time, we're definitely not counting any chickens before the hatch here, and we understand.
Not at Oriel Park, no, Jesus.
As I said, until that 3D picture is done, Gally, I will not be happy. I've just got shivers down my spine.
What day is the 3D picture?
It is the 22nd of August.
22nd of August, okay. That's a
Bray away to Wexford and Cove at home to UCD.
Grand, lads. Grand.
But
you're right. That's almost a cup final day there. Like that's a kind of prelude to what's coming. But that should be the big.
It's also just one of those guns. I think if you can get a victory there, it's a psychological thing for a lot of the team that might just give them that boost to get it over the line. With some of the players as well, because that's the only bogey teams. The one we just have not found a way to get past and get the victory this year. So I think if you can do that on the last ask, and it could be a massive mental lift for the team to get them across it, because I think we've seen 2 different victories. If you take Friday and Monday, I think tonight we were probably a lot more in control at times, had that little dip where we allowed Longford back in, but for the majority of the match, I'd say we were well in control towards the UCD match. We just never found that control at times in the game and always allowed UCD an opportunity to get back into it. We're lucky we got away with it. At this time of the year, I don't really care about performance levels and being the better team through it. The most important thing is the 3 points on the board and being able to do what we hoped that we'd be able to do at the start of the season. That was to be in a position to be leading the table at this time of the year. And I'll look at that. Ryan Dillon, only have to see in his now. It's all about the results. Fair play, just backing me up on mine as well. It's all about the results right now.
That's right.
And big shout out to Kenny and his improvement as well. So like they are probably the key things. I think we're probably about there, Gally, for tonight.
Yeah.
Unless you've anything else alarming.
No, not the alarm. No, like it's hilarious. I still remember the first game of the year, and we were talking. I think I might have said, God, if we get to within 10 games of it, and we're right up there, we should have it sewn up. No, I thought we'd have it sewn up maybe. I think I might have said 8 games to go, which is 22 games away. Arrogant or what?
Yeah.
But yeah, look, it's the league kind of started, kind of really started after the transfer window, and we're just plodding away and just keeping it going. And you know, provided we, you know, if we produce what we've produced over the last couple of weeks, well, albeit look at the slip ups, but you know, like for instance, we have 2 games this weekend. We've won on Friday night. If we can come through these with the 9. You know, and you couldn't be asked for Cove and Bray to be playing each other at a better time. You know, it's ideal.
Yeah.
You know, even if one of them wins, even if Cove win, it keeps one of them out of the way. If a draw is ideal, I actually think Bray could be beating them, could be more ideal, because I think Bray would definitely draw points. You know,
they've definitely recruited extremely well with the 2 Farage guys.
Yeah. So it's all in our hands. It really is.
It's a completely different season. When you look at last year, you've seen at this time of the year, you know, Cork really rolled the dice and got the 2 lads up front and, you know, and battered the league. It's not that this year, but at the same time, we're coming from a different place. We don't have the cash to throw at players like Cork had. And then you actually see how that's affecting Cork maybe this year. Do you know, I'd like to think that we're probably building from a stronger base this year. And then if we can, I suppose, review and see where we are when we go up. But you'd like to think there's a spine of a good team there already to if we were to go. Yeah, look, that's the other side of it, I suppose as well. Well, look, Ali, we'll be back to do it again on Friday night after the
countdown's on.
The countdown is on indeed. For everything, for the season, for the matches, for the next pod. Just want to say thank you as always to all our sponsors as well, to Vinny and the lads in Tony's Pizzeria, to Mark Carlin and everyone up in Black Mountain Studios, and of course to Donald Green and to Dundalk Village for their overall sponsorship of the show too. That's it. Look, Gally, like I say, we roll on to the next. It seems that's the most important thing right now is the next result. And fingers crossed, back at home again in Oriel Park, and hopefully we'll be looking at 3 points again. And until then, come on the town.
My black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white scarf, my black and white, yeah, it's black and white, we're just black.